Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Well, my friends from Japan, we're back. It seems like your government is naughty. Um, you know, in martial arts, whatever they are, the Japanese use Zen, and Zen is a reaction to to an action um, that your brain does not think about it. Is just something that it was trained and reacts instinctively. And it is based on the change of the surrounding. So, if we ever watched, people engage in kendo or fighting or Shotokan karate, which is more expressive than the Kyokushin that I practiced, it's always the reaction, it's the counter. It's not really the attack, it's the counter attack that is usually winning. The attacker uses patience and uses nerves, and that's why once you attack, you open yourself, you disclose your position, you disclose your intention. Even if you feint it, the other person already has something to figure out, or his body is able to figure out what you train the body to react to the specific technique. So the attacker is always in a worse position than the counter-attacker, even though you see the Japanese or a surprise attack if you're certain that the adversary, the opponent, is not paying attention. That's why they thought that the Tora Tora Tora, uh, tiger tiger tiger, whatever the um, um, Pearl Harbor occurred. They thought they will just one blow surprise attack will definitely destroy the American fleet like they destroyed the Russian fleet in 1904 or 1905 at Tsushima Straits when they sank the Tsar's fleet, the Russian fleet, and therefore they in Vladivostok area and they Vladivostok area and in Tsushima Straits by Japan. So here we have the Russians applying Zen, and the Japanese are not applying Zen. Why? Because I think the Japanese are under the influence of the Americans and they forgot their art of war, which is Bushido, the way of the samurai, of the fighter, of the warrior. So here it's April 27, 2022, from republicworld.com. And we find that Russia expels 8 Japanese diplomats after asking Norwegians to leave. So Russia has expelled 8 Japanese diplomats, Kremlin's foreign minister informed. The move came after Moscow asked at least 3 Norwegian envoys to leave the country. Russian foreign ministry has summoned a representative of the Japanese embassy to declare 8 diplomats persona non grata. It has asked the envoys to leave Moscow by May 10th. Russia's recent expulsion was in a retaliation move to Japanese expulsion of at least 8 Russian diplomats in response to Kremlin's invasion of Ukraine. Well, Japan did not have to feel obliged to participate in a war that did not involve uh, their country, but nevertheless they had to insert themselves in a war. What 3,000 miles away from them to the west, and nevertheless nobody asked them if they should or not, but they were pushed by their, as I said, um, you know, Zimbabwean friends across the Pacific Ocean, those guys, and they did. So that means recklessly as they act, they are opening up, so they could be punched and attacked and counterattacked. They went on their own initiative and they went and spoke with the Indian leaders, to try to sway them and break the friendship for the connections with the Russians and condemned Russia and stopped buying energy from Russia, and they promised about $50 billion in investments in India. That was the bribery that occurred over there, but the Indians did not fall for that. Then the Japanese started calling, the northern territories, how they call them, the Kuril Islands, as occupied territory by the Russians. So that's inflammatory. And then the Russia says, okay, bye bye. We're not going to talk to you about that. Then Japan imposed sanctions on Russia, again inserting itself in something that had nothing to do with Japan, but they had to. They did that. Then they said they will open for some how do you call it? Defensive. Let's find a euphemism. Defensive, American defensive, protecting help keepers something troops. Basically, you know what I mean. Then they hit Russia at every corner. I think they opened their mouth in G7 or something again against Russia. In G20 again they opened their mouth against Russia. Very, very, very verbal. If they think that they're gonna grab the Kuril Islands somehow, they will get some things coming towards them. I guarantee you, it's not gonna be a conventional war over there. They're gonna just, as you know, there's no peace treaty between Russia and Japan, so in reality they are still at war. Well, because of those islands, supposedly. But anyway, now Japan has problems with China, has problems with some islands that belong to um, South Korea, has problems with everybody. And don't forget, they were the most militaristic country in the 20th century in that area. It was not Japan, it was not Vietnam, it was not, oh, I'm sorry, it was not China, it was not North Korea, it was not South Korea, it was not Vietnam, it was Japan. Japan did the most war over there, and the most brutal war, and the most war crimes, and whatever you want to say. They used how do you call them? Sex slaves. They tested their katana blades. On prisoners. That famous picture that you can find online with that Australian pilot who's has his eyes covered and kneeled with his arms behind his back, and a Japanese guy behind with his katana up, ready to go down. And that occurred, and everybody's watching. Why? Because they wanted to test the quality of the blade of the katana. It was a test that the samurais used to do with criminals, or with people that were, criminals. They would get them and they would try to see if they slice two necks with one cut, or they would try to see if they can cut from here diagonal. There was all kind of tests, and they would test the quality of their blades. So we know things about you, Japan. So you should be a little bit more, restrained, a little bit of restraint, temperance, moderation, patience. How about that? Go and practice a little bit of Shano Yu, and that would calm down your spirit. Or if not, go and do some Ikebana, or then you can paint some Sumi-e. Do something like that. Remember your origins and forget the Commodore Perry 1869 or 1868 when they opened up Japan and the restoration of your Meiji. Okay, take it easy. Take it easy. You're a small island. You don't need too many raindrops to fall on your island, if you know what I mean. It doesn't mean you should not have an attitude, but don't insert yourself where you do not belong, because you might get burned. You know what I mean? Take it easy. I like you, Japan. I want you to be there. I don't want you to go anywhere. All right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.